All right. Shalom Israel. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Barakatah. Yahweh Shamar Alatha Ba'Hashem Yahushai. To the sisters. All right. So like I'm gonna send the link out. I already sent the link. Let me just share the video quick. And we're gonna go ahead and get started. All right. All right. Salakia. Just gonna post the sign-in links and that's it. Gonna get rolling. All right. True B'Shai One. Shalom, Lord in Christ. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Barakatah. All right, sign-in links posted in English and in Spanish. All right, so tonight's law topic, we're going to do a part 2 of the Kingdom of Heaven. A couple weeks when we did it, the first part, there was too many verses. And I couldn't finish them all, which I did want to get through them all, but we couldn't. So we're going to go ahead and finish it off tonight. All right. So remember that the title of the video or the lesson is called "The Kingdom Will Be Ruled by the Laws of God." In other words, what I plan to show is the actual biblical definition of what the kingdom of heaven is, or what is heaven? What is the kingdom? All right. Can it be found? Can the scriptures give you the definition of it? Does it mean we float off into the sky, into some place? All right, we're gonna get into all that using Old and New Testament, of course. All right. So we're gonna do a quick recap, basically on what we covered. We got Daniel in the chat. Shalom. All right, the water for tuning in. All right, so we're gonna do a quick recap of what we covered a couple weeks back. So get me Trooper Shari Wan, grab me. Let's get Luke 19. Luke 19. We'll start from verse 11. All right, everybody, share this video, like, share, and subscribe, as they say. All right, share the video to all of Israel. Hey, Shalom, Officer Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Barakatah.
Shalom, Akim Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Barakatah.
All right.
How's it going, Akim?
Everything's kawab.
Most High in Christ.
All right. When you're ready, Shari Wan, go ahead.
Okay. This is the book of Luke, chapter 19 and verse 11. And as they heard these things, he added and spake a parable, because he was nigh to Jerusalem, and because they thought that the kingdom of God should immediately appear.
All right. So here, I mean, anybody who understands the Christian mind, right? This is a perfect cut to the Christian's mindset, because now I'm not saying all of us were Christians, but I do remember when I was a Christian. All right, I do remember when I was a Christian, I thought that for some reason, and it's crazy because I never read it anywhere, but I thought that heaven was just gonna, with the snap of God's fingers, was just gonna appear, or maybe it was actually gonna float down from the sky, and like we're gonna get to walk into this place and be in paradise, and like I actually thought that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure many other people have, and I'm not sure how this brainwashing works. I haven't seen no studies like that, but that's just how Christianity is. So this is a very good precept to cut that right away, because it's very good, not only because it's direct in what it's saying, but it's Christ saying it, and it's in the New Testament. All right, so they're not going to be able to, because Christians, they don't really, if you show them a scripture from the Old Testament, they're not really gonna, not that they won't take it, but they're gonna go right to the New Testament. Read that one more time.
Con. And as they heard these things, he added and spake a parable, because he was nigh to Jerusalem, and because they thought that the kingdom of God should immediately appear.
So they thought, man. Now he's talking about the Pharisees, and what I'm saying, we say that the Christians today, they're the modern Pharisees, man. They're the modern Pharisees, because they basically try to, they'll be like, just like Christians do. They tried to catch Christ in every little thing of the law. You know what I'm saying? Or actually, even things that weren't in the law, as a matter of fact. And then Christians today, we tell them we keep the law, and they get at us like, oh, so you do this, you do that. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm getting feedback. So if you're not reading, or you're not, asking a question or a comment, then just keep your mic muted until you're ready. I don't know what the feedback is. So basically, then, and that's what Christians do today. How many times we'll be, out there on the street doing our thing, and Christians will be like, "Oh, you guys don't eat pork. Oh, you guys don't sin." That's exactly what the Pharisees did to Yahushua. All right. Trooper Shah Yuan, keep reading.
Okay. Verse 12. He said, therefore, a certain nobleman went into a far country to receive for himself a kingdom, and to return. And he called his 10 servants and delivered them 10 pounds.
So pause right there. When it says, first of all, when it says this man went and to go receive himself a kingdom, what do you think he's talking about?
Right now, he's about to explain in a parable what the kingdom is like, or how the kingdom is coming. But I'm not sure just yet. I'd have to keep reading.
This is when it says the man went into the town to receive himself a kingdom. He's going to take control of that place. He's going to govern that country or that region or whatever. He's going to, because this man we're talking about a powerful man. All right, it's not just talking about an ordinary man. It's talking about a powerful ruler. It's a parable of Christ, which Christ is a powerful ruler. So this man's going to purchase a kingdom, meaning, okay, for example, when one business will buy out another business, that's because they're greater than that previous business. They have more money. They bought them out. Same way, if a military or a government is more powerful than the other, what do? They go, they conquer it, take it over. You know what I'm saying? We could, same thing. Remember, we brought out in the law in Deuteronomy the 20th chapter, you know, when we're out traveling, if we approach a city or a kingdom, we can pronounce peace to it. And if they say, okay, peace, then what's next? We take over that. We take them over, meaning we don't kill them because we pronounce peace, but they now belong to us. They're our servants. They pay taxes to us. So that city or that region, whatever it was, belongs to us. So this man's he's doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? He's doing the exact same thing. So he's, going and purchasing this kingdom. So now keep in mind, this is a parable of the kingdom of heaven. And, Yahushua, the great ruler. All right, keep reading.
Come. And said unto them, Occupy till I come. But his citizens hated him and sent a message after him, saying, We will not have this man to reign over us.
All right, that Christians don't realize it, but that's what they say every time they don't want to, they profess they don't keep the commandments. They're basically saying we don't want God, we don't want Christ to reign over us. I mean, they might profess with their mouths that they believe in God and Christ, but their heart is far from it. That's another, that's something else I wish I said about the Pharisees. So basically, what I'm saying, they said he told them to occupy till I come, meaning put in the work. All right, that's a very UPK statement. Occupy till I come. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very UPK. All right. And they said, we're not going to have this person reign over us. All right, keep going.
Okay. Verse 15. And it came to pass that when he was returned, having received the kingdom, then he commanded these servants to be called unto him, to whom he had given the money, that he might know how much every man had gained by trading. Then came the first, saying, Master, thy pound hath gained 10 pounds. And he said unto him, Well, thou good servant, because thou hast been faithful in a very little, have thou authority over 10 cities.
Have thou what?
Have authority over 10 cities.
So right there, this parable is he said have authority over 10 cities in this kingdom that he received. This man, he purchased the kingdom, he got it, you know what I'm saying? He successfully took over this kingdom, right? And then the faithful servants, what did he say? Did he say, enter ye into the pearly gates? You know what I'm saying? Did he say, float up into the clouds now and enjoy the kingdom of heaven? He said what?
Have thou authority over 10 cities.
Have authority over 10 cities. That sounds like we're gonna have to be putting in some work in this kingdom. Doesn't sound like we're gonna be just laying back on lawn chairs on a beach all day long. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't sound like that at all. To have authority over something, that's a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? Like a supervisor position of something. You don't just sit back and do nothing unless you're a lazy boss or a supervisor, as they call in the world. But to actually have authority over something, that's a lot of work you got to put in. You know what I'm saying? Like, so in this kingdom of heaven, that so far from reading this parable, doesn't sound like anything that the Christians have portrayed this, to be. All right, keep going.
And the second came, saying, Master,
Shalom,
thy pound hath gained 5 pounds.
Shalom, Lord in Christ.
Verse 18. And the second came, saying, Master, thy pound hath gained 5 pounds. And he said likewise to him, Be thou also over 5 cities.
All right, so here the other one he's saying, take authority over 5 cities, all right? Depending on the amount of work you put in, you know what I'm saying? Your reward in the kingdom will be great. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, This is just the future how I see it. You know what I'm saying? Officer Aban, he's over Canada. So Commandant General YAHANNA gave him authority over how many cities are in Canada. I don't know, but how many ever they are. You know what I'm saying? That's the authority he gave him. All right. Now, Officer Bond servants, right now, so to speak, me, Officers Abaja, Officer IDR, we have, he's been saying, all right, you guys control Toronto, you guys control Quebec, so we get this certain amount of cities. We cover the GTA. Officer IDR covers the Quebec region, however much cities that is. You know what I'm saying? And this is a picture image of what the kingdom is going to be like. You know what I'm saying? Different. You're going to be reigning and ruling over people, lands. You know what I'm saying? Your own nation, of course, because that's all it's about. The kingdom of heaven is about your nation and good status with the Most High, full of blessings, on top of the world, the head and not the tail. All right, the greatest of all, above all people, and on top of all that, like Christ said, having authority over the rest of the nations. All right, keep going.
God. And another came saying, Master, behold, here is thy pound which I have kept laid up in a napkin. For I feared thee, because thou art an austere man. Thou takest up that thou layest not down, and repayest that thou didst not sow.
So I can read that.
And reapest that thou didst not sow.
So this is the man. This is the lazy man. This is that man. Since we're in the chapter, I'll go ahead and break this down. This is that lazy man right here. This is that man that thought he could just sit back and do nothing about. He didn't want to join the Lord's army. He didn't want to become a trooper in the school. He didn't want to put no work in. This is that lazy man right here. This is like, what we call a civilian, which, what I'm saying, technically there's nothing wrong with being a civilian, all right? But, what I'm saying, everybody should have it in their spirit to strive, for and achieve greatness, especially things when it comes to God, it comes to the Most High. You want to strive and push to your potential for your Creator. It should just be natural, you know what I'm saying? But this is that man who just, that proud, lazy man who just sat back and said, I'm a civilian. You know what? Kingdom's coming with it without me. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like what he's saying. And then, he said, and then his excuse is, man, I knew that, he's basically saying, yeah, I was shy. I knew that you reap stuff where you don't sow. You know what I'm saying? In other words, he's trying to, which that's true of Christ, but he's using that as an excuse. Can one of the troopers tell me, how does Christ reap places where he himself did not sow? One of the troopers, how does he do that?
Exactly, sir. Repeat that question again.
How does Christ reap where he did not sow?
Salaki, so he doesn't.
He does. He does. He reaps. He reaps the harvest in places he didn't fit. Okay, like for example, was Christ physically here in Canada?
Salaki, sir. There is.
Salaki, go ahead. I think Trooper Shariwan, I think you might be lagging out.
Salaki, sir.
Yeah, Trooper Shariwan must have.
Salaki, sir, through his disciples.
Shariwan, can you hear me? Yeah, Shariwan, you might have to come in and come out. I think it's lagging again. Try to come in and come out. All right. Okay, but I heard what he said. He basically, can everybody else hear me fine?
Fine.
Okay, Khan.
I can hear you.
All right. So nowhere else is okay. So now he was right. You know what I'm saying? Shariwan brought up, he corrected himself. He said that he does reap where he didn't sow, which through his disciples is how he does it. Through his servants is how he does it. For example, he's never been to Toronto. All right, that's just the plain facts. All right, yet his message and what he, the authority that he gave us, he's reaping it through the work that we are doing for in his name, for him. You know what I'm saying? Does that make him less of an authority figure? No. You know what I'm saying? Bosses, speaking in worldly terms, bosses and supervisors don't always get to even learn or cover every aspect of the business because they have men under them doing that. Sometimes they don't have to look into the financial accounts because they have men they've hired to do that for them. And they're still over them, but they never looked into the bank account of the business because they don't need to. They're just bringing in all the money. So Yahushua, in the same way, but not in a worldly sense, of course, but as far as the truth, he's reaping the harvest of the people we bring into the truth, the brothers and sisters we gather into the fold. He is benefiting and reaping it because he sent us out to do it. We're his servants. He bought us with a price. So we belong to him now. We're going to serve him. All right. Until the Trooper Shayuan gets back, Trooper Yarad, we're in Luke 19 and 22.
So where do we start from, sir?
We started from like verse 11, but we're in 22 now.
All right. So, would you like me to read 21?
22.
Luke 19, verse 22. And he said unto him, out thine own mouth will I judge thee, thou wicked servant. Thou knowest that I was an austerity man, taking up that I laid not down, and reaping that I did not sow.
All right. So again, he's saying, yeah, I reap the harvest even though I didn't physically do it. Like I said, Yahushua isn't physically, bodily here in Canada, but you best believe he's reaping in the harvest through us. All right. Now, again, we brought this scripture out because it's a parable of the kingdom of heaven. And in verse 17, in verse 17, when the kingdom was purchased and it was settled and the kingdom was here, he didn't tell his troopers, or he didn't tell his officers and his captains, go ahead and sit on a lawn chair somewhere on a beach and sip a margarita or whatever, or go sit on a cloud with a baby with wings and a heart. He didn't say. I didn't see that. But what he did say was, go and have authority over 10 cities. That's in the kingdom of heaven. In the kingdom of heaven, we're gonna have authority and rule over cities, barracks. Listen, I want my portion, Salakia. I want my part. Lord willing, I'm trying to be over certain regions and in charge of militaries of the Lord and all that. Like I'm shooting high. You know what I'm saying? I'm striving for that because I want to serve my God. You know what I'm saying? And whatever He wants, I want, and I just want to do the most for Him. All right, so that's what I'm looking forward to, having commanding a. You know what I'm saying? We'll be commanding a special operations team in the UPK to go check out this area in Canada. We heard some heathens were trying to slaughter some swine. We heard some heathens are trying to have a pork dinner. We'll be sending out the military to go slaughter them. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what's gonna happen, Akim. Like this is literally what it's about. Like the Yahushua is coming back with a dictatorship to where it's these rules or you're dead. Like and in today's world, the dictatorship is looked at as negative because it's so barbaric and so old fashioned and but that's actually how Yahushua is coming back. He's coming back with a dictatorship. Not let's all judge and no, let's all vote who's going to be the leader. You know what I'm saying? That's not how he's coming back. All right. Shayuan, you're back.
Come on, sir.
All right. All sign Christ. All right. So let's drop that one. But I hope so. Is that's clear to everybody, right? What basically the message of this parable. Anybody needs a clarification or a question, just feel free. All right. So drop that. Chuba Shayuan. Quickly, just on the top, just because we're on the topic of the kingdom of heaven and it being ruled by the laws of God, ruled by Israel. I want to get a couple precepts and see who this kingdom belongs to. All right, get me Daniel. Chuba Shayuan, get me Daniel 7. Let me just double check if it's Daniel. Get me it might be Daniel chapter 2. Let me just double check. Yeah, Daniel 2:44. Trooper Shayuan. Trooper Yarad, get me First Maccabees chapter 4 and 10.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 2 and verse 44. And in the days of the kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people.
Whoa, hold on. This kingdom won't be what?
Shall not be left to other people.
What's that mean, Trooper?
The kingdom is only for one people.
That's right. Christ. That's exactly what it's saying. This kingdom won't be left for other people. You know what I'm saying? Not the rulership, of course. Trooper Yarad, go ahead.
Like to if I could. Where are we reading from right now?
Right now?
Concept.
This one is Daniel 2 and 44.
What?
So it won't be left for the other people. The other people aren't going to get to set up their government. The other people aren't going to get to set up their rulership. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to get to do that.
Salakia.
Yeah, go ahead.
After the trooper reads, I have a precept to add to what you're saying.
Go ahead right now.
Khanat. This is Revelations 21 and 12. And had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
No, the names of the United Nations.
the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
Oh, snap. That don't sound like I said, that's a Tawab precept. That goes exactly with this, because this one says it won't be left for other people.
Right.
So there's going to be no voting in an Edomite to put more drugs in the ghettos. All right? There's going to be none of that. The kingdom is not for them. All right. They've already proven they cannot. First of all, the Most High never even planned for them to rule the world, like eternally, of course. Secondly, the first opportunity they get, they destroy the place. So you're out. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Gerard.
Like, sir. Pardon me. Again, you said Daniel 2 and Daniel chapter 2 and verse 4?
44.
Oh, count. Thanks. Go on.
I underbar. So yeah, like again, it won't be left to other people. All right, it's not going to be left. There's only, and like the Badger read, there's only 12 gates with the 12 tribes of Israel. You know what I'm saying? Now, that what that represents, because I've heard people say, I've heard like some people try to twist it and say, okay, well, is there going to be slaves in the kingdom? And then we say, yeah. And they say, well, wouldn't they have to get in one of those gates? And it's just, they're only saying that for their lack of understanding of the verse. That's not necessarily giving you a physical description. It's more of not a parable, but an analogy of who does this kingdom belong to. Now, in this kingdom, if we want to build our headquarters with 12 gates, that's what we're going to do. But this verse, the message is giving off is more of who does this kingdom belong to? Who is it for? And who is this covenant, this new covenant belong to? It's for the 12 tribes of Israel. Within that, it's part of it is having slaves. But that doesn't mean, because they're trying to be like, well, you have to admit that a heathen is getting in the kingdom if you're saying you're having slaves. And if you say there isn't slaves, then that means that means the white man's not going into slavery. And they force you to pick one of the two options when they don't even understand what that verse is saying. It's just describing to you, again, who is this kingdom promised to? Who is it given to? All right, it's not it's not necessarily literal. Now, again, am I saying we're not going to have a physical? Are we going to have 12 gates at our headquarters in Jerusalem? We could do whatever we want with it. Really, there's no restriction on how we build it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that's saying. Not to, because Christians and other fake Israelites, try to twist it. Try to play with it. All right. And then officers of budget to get another precept on top of that. Take me to Daniel 7 and 18.
Khan,
Trooper Yerad, get me what I gave you.
Sir. This is the book of Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 10. Now, therefore, let us cry unto heaven. If peradventure the Lord will have mercy upon us, and remember the covenant of our fathers, and destroy their host before our face this day.
Who's the host, Trooper?
That's Babylon right now, sir. America.
God. Keep going.
Verse 11. That so all the heathen may know that there is one who delivereth and saved Israel.
Hold on. Who saves and delivers the Edomites?
Saves Israel, sir.
The white man?
Israel.
The Moabites?
Israel.
This is a heavy precept, and this is why now you know why the Christians took this out of the Bible. Now you know why, because from First Esdras all the way to Second Maccabees and the Apocrypha, all there is gold for us as Israel, because it's all about our history, more wisdom, you know what I'm saying, for our nation, more blueprints to get out of this situation we're in. This is why they took it out. Now you know why. Read that again, that last part.
That so all the heathen may know that there is one who delivereth and saveth Israel.
So that all the heathen may be saved? No. That all the heathen may know and have they can have understanding that Yahweh, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, he delivers and saves Israel.
Right. That's right.
And that is it. That's a one, that'll finish you in one cut, a Christian. You know what I'm saying? Get it. The problem is, like I said, they don't even acknowledge these books. They can't, right? Why would they, right? Why would they? All right. That just to show you just a couple of these precepts to show why. And then Trooper Shariwan, grab me Joel 2 and 32. Joel 2 and 32. All right. Just to show you who is this kingdom for? Who is this salvation for? Officers of Badger, go ahead.
Khan, this is Daniel 7 and 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever.
And they shall Salaki, who shall take the kingdom?
The saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
Even Daniel had to say like Daniel's like, listen, forever, even forever. Like Daniel is saying, he's making it very clear.
Salakia, that sounds like a Judite rap song.
Yeah,
Forever, ever, forever, ever.
right, exactly. All right.
Oh
He's
man.
making it very clear, forever and ever. Oh, and in case you thought it had an end, forever and ever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's our people. These are our ancestors. These are holy men before us. Go ahead.
I'm trying to find a parable or something to pair with this scripture, like a precept.
Which one?
So, who the saints? Who's Daniel talking? Who the saints are in this this precept?
Okay. Go to Psalms 50 and 5.
50 and 5.
Psalms 50 and 5. We'll quickly explain who the saints of the Most High are. And then Trooper Sharywan, keep a finger on what you got and get me Psalms 149. It's like a 148. And let me just check the exact verse. Make sure I have it right. But yeah, you're right. You get me Psalm 50 and 5. And then Sharywan, the one I'm looking for is Psalms 148. And you might know it already, Sharywan. It's like 148 and 14. 14. All right. Trooper Yerad, read what you got.
Psalm chapter 50, verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me.
All right, so pause. So he said, gather his saints. All right, this is, God speaking through King David. Gather my saints together. Go ahead.
Those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
Oh, so he said, gather my saints together. Those that have made to meet with me a covenant by sacrifice. Now, on the mountain that day, when the covenant was given to Moses, who was there? Could be your rod.
It was Moses, correct?
Not only that, but if you read Exodus 24, he made 12 pillars for the 12 tribes of Israel, and from each of the tribe, men like elders and young people, they went up and they made a sacrifice representing their tribe. I think it's elders, not young people. They made a sacrifice on each of these 12 pillars for each 12 tribes. They made a sacrifice representing their tribe, showing you, okay, we're entering into this covenant with you, all of us. All 12 tribes. There was no heathen pillar. There was no mixed multitude pillar. All right. You can read that. Just for time's sake, we won't go there. That's in Exodus 24, verse 1 to 10. All right. You can write that down with Psalms 50 and 5. All right. That's who these saints are. They're the ones who made the covenant by sacrifice. And then today, so we translate that today, the 12 tribes, we're the ones who are sacrificing ourselves for the nation of Israel. We're the ones putting ourselves on an altar for God. You know what I'm saying? Sacrificing our body, our temple, giving it up to, to the Most High, Yahweh. Same thing. All right. You can look at it from today and before. But he's specifically saying, yeah, the ones that made a sacrifice by covenant. Who is that? 12 tribes of Israel. Trooper Sharywan, read the one in Psalms you got.
The book of Psalms, chapter 148 and verse 14. He also exalteth the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel.
Even of the who?
Children of Israel.
Now, when it says, and all his people, his saints, even the children of Israel, that's an old English term to basically, I'm not going to say exactly what the word is, but it means this. It's basically saying, if I say Yeah, I have your money. Yes, me, I have your money. That's literally that's all it's saying. All right, that's all it's saying. It's saying to give his praise to his people, his saints. Yes, to his people Israel. Because when you look at, for example, you know it means that because in Genesis, when Jacob, no, not Jacob, when Esau was crying about not receiving a blessing, he said, bless me, O Father. Oh, even me. Is he talking about his other brother or somebody else? You know, he's talking about himself. So it's just a redundant way, an old English word to say me. Yes, me. I'm talking about me. That's all it is. So read that again.
He also exalteth the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel.
The children of Israel are the saints in Daniel 7 and 18. The children of Israel are taking the kingdom. That's it. That's all. That's it. Saints are Israelites. And not some Catholic Saint John, and you know who they single out and like say, oh, these are the only saints for some reason. Even the Bible calls the nation of Israel, repentant nation of Israel, saints. All right, that's all of us. We don't single one guy out. Say, oh, Saint John, Saint Mark, Saint. You know what I'm saying? David was a saint. You know what I'm saying? Solomon was a saint. Adam, he was also a saint too. You know what I'm saying? All of his seed line, his people that he was dealing with at that time, and today, us in the I.S.U.P.K, we're the saints of the Most High. The 12 tribes of Israel that are repentant and doing the works of the Lord. All right. So, True Rod, does that answer your question on who the saints are? Daniel 7:18. So as Officers Abadja read, the saints are going to take the kingdom of heaven. All right. The saints, meaning the Israelites, this kingdom belongs to us. We're going to take it. And that's a powerful statement. What it didn't say is we're sitting back waiting for it to come. Did that say that? No, it didn't say we're gonna pray for the kingdom to come and not do any works. Instead, we're gonna take it. We're taking Toronto right now. I.S.U.P.K is taking Toronto. We're shutting down Christians. We're shutting down fake Israelites. All other fake organizations that claim to help Black people. We're shutting it all down, and we're taking the kingdom, man. All right.
Salakia, what was that last precept you pulled?
Which one? The Psalm?
Yeah, the last Psalms.
The last one Sharyuan read was Psalms 148, verse 14.
Khan.
And then the one True Rod read was Psalms 50 and 5.
Khan, I got that one. I just needed the last one.
Oh, okay, Khan. So we are taking the kingdom. We're taking what do we say in the UBK? We're taking ground. All right. We're taking ground all over the world. We're the ones taking the kingdom, man. You know what I'm saying? We ain't sitting back like some Christian eating a pork sandwich and smoking a blunt after Sunday service, thinking the kingdom's just gonna fall on their lap, man. That's a damn joke. That's a shame. Yahushua is gonna come back to those, Black and Hispanic Christian pastors and be like, "Where's my talent? Where's the thing that? Oh, I buried it. Oh, I buried it in the sun." That's what they're gonna say. I buried it, sir. I didn't think it was important. I didn't think the oracles of God that you gave me, I didn't think that was important, sir. I didn't know I needed to go give it to the Black community. I didn't know. Sorry. And then he's cast into the lake of fire. All right. Cooper Sharyuan. I think you had Joel 2 and 32 for me.
All
right, go ahead.
This is the book of Joel, chapter 2 and verse 32. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance.
For in what?
Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance.
Hold on. And didn't it say whosoever at the beginning? Read the beginning again.
And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord.
One sec. That whosoever, meaning the whole world, Sharyuan, the globe.
Sir.
Keep going.
Shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance.
That don't sound like the whole world. That sounds like Mount Zion and Jerusalem, like it says. So whosoever will call upon the name of the Lord shall be delivered. Because because in Mount Zion, in Jerusalem, is deliverance. The people of Zion, that's who's being delivered. That's a precept. That's actually a direct precept for John 3:16. All right. That's a direct precept for John 3:16. Whosoever calls upon the name of the Lord will be saved, for in Mount Zion and Jerusalem will be deliverance. That shows you exactly who this salvation is for. All right. Now, did I give you did I give you anything else?
Let me check here, sir. No.
No sweat, no sweat. All right, get me all right. Let's go to I think I stopped. Get me Wisdom of Solomon. All right, give me Psalms 8 and 6. Trooper Yerad. Trooper Yawan. Grab me Isaiah 49:23.
Okay.
All right, Trooper Yerad, when you're ready, go ahead.
Psalms 8 and 6. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 8 and verse 6. Thou madest him to have dominion over the works of thy hands. Thou hast put all things under his feet.
Wait, back up a couple verses
So
we can get the understanding of who this is talking about.
Psalms chapter 8 and verse 4. What is a man that thou art mindful of him? And the son of man that thou visited him.
Yeah, so this is talking about man, or Adam to be specific, because to Adam was given the rulership of the earth. All right, Adam passed it down to his sons, and then eventually to Noah, who was the only surviving person of the ark, and his 8 souls in total. Then he passed it down to who? Ham? No. Japheth? No. But he passed it down to Shem. All right. Then Shem ultimately passed it down to Abraham, and then Isaac, and then Jacob, which is now the 12 tribes of Israel. So that's how the rulership of the earth got passed down, through genealogy, through pedigree. All right. So when people say, "Oh, well, Adam wasn't an Israelite, Noah wasn't an Israelite," they're ignorant, and they don't have a working understanding of the Bible. They don't get it. They think like the Bible it's fluent, it's running, it's moving, it's alive. You know what I'm saying? Like it's trying to give you an image of something that is tangible in our life today. Okay, once the rulership was given to Adam, but now it's given to Jacob. Why? Because Adam passed it down to his sons, and these are real living people that once lived on the earth. And ultimately, he gave it to who? Abraham, Isaac, and then Jacob. And then he said that I'm never going to break my covenant. I found my people that I'm giving my covenant to, and I've decided I'm not breaking my covenant with them. You will be my people forever. There's too many scriptures on that. All right. People who say that stupidness, or Adam wasn't an Israelite. Abraham, they don't understand the Bible. They don't understand God's purpose. They don't understand his intention. So, those are just scoffers, man. Are you done reading?
Yeah, sir. I'm on verse 4. Verse 5. Salakia, verse 5. Psalm 8, verse 5. So thou hast made him a little lower than the angels.
Salakia, I'm getting feedback from someone. I don't know who, but Anybody could just tell they have to speak or read and read your mics the water. All right, True Rod, go ahead.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 8, verse 5. For thou hast made him a little lower than the angels, and hast crowned him with a glory of honor.
So he says talking about Adam, all right, man. Go ahead.
So this is still talking about Adam, so you said?
Yes.
Verse 6. Thou madest him to have dominion over the works of thy hands.
He gave Adam dominion over the work of thy hands. Now, if I recall correct, the work of the Most High's hands is everything on this earth, including this earth. So that verse is literally telling you he gave Adam dominion over the work of God's hands, and God made everything. So he's literally giving us authority to rule over everything. That's why the scriptures in the New Testament that says, first of all, in Second Esdras in the Apocrypha, it says he made the earth for our sakes. All right. And then somewhere in, I think it's in 1 Corinthians, Paul said, all things are yours. All things are yours, man. Everything belongs to you. He's talking to the Corinthian, the Israelite congregation in Corinth. All right. He said, all things belong to you. The earth belongs to you, man. The animals belong to you. Nature belongs to you. Everything. I've given you control to rule over it. Go ahead.
Verse 6 at the end. Thou hast put all things under his feet. Verse 7. All sheep and oxen, and the beast of the field. Verse 8. The fowl of the air, and the fish of the sea, and whatsoever pass through the path of the seas.
And when it says because when it doesn't mention other animal it doesn't mention other humans, the reason why in this particular verse, because another word, this scripture is manifold. Another meaning for beast is a beast of the field or fowls of the air. That's another way to say the nations. All right. How do we know that? Because Esau, the devil in the garden, who is Esau today, what does it call him? The most subtle beast of the field, not an actual snake, all right, but someone from another nation tempting Eve to partake of their culture, who is Esau today, all right. It calls him the most subtle beast of the field. So another way you describe the other nations is what? Beasts, animals, fowl. What did YAHWH call the Greek woman? A dog. That's a beast, all right? That's an animal. So that's why it says all beasts of the field, all creeping things. It's not just talking about animals. It's talking about nations. There's too many scriptures. This is what we're dealing with. This is what the whole topic is about. That says we're to rule over the nations. True Bashar Yuan, do you have anything for me?
Come on, sir.
Okay, True Rod, is that it for your verse?
That was the end of verse 8, sir.
True Rod, get me Revelation 2 and 25. Shariwan, go ahead.
Come on. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 49 and verse 23. And kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. They shall bow down to thee with their face towards the earth, and lick up the dust of thy feet. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord, for they shall not be ashamed that wait.
So we all know what this verse is. This is the book, this is the book verse. Okay. It's also
Salakia.
Oh, go ahead.
That's definitely the boot kiss, and I pray all the Akim get to experience that verse many times more.
God, absolutely. Yeah, boot kiss, man. Like I can't wait to get a boot kiss. I can't wait to get a boot kiss because this verse shows you it says their kings, meaning the kings that they were once in their own nation, will now be your servant. Serving your children. That what the what a picture image of that is it represents authority coming down. It's showing you like it's not only is it's also literal, but it's also spiritual in the sense it's showing you somebody high, someone of a high authoritative position, someone who once ruled the world, who was once a king of this world. He's coming down to the point of a servant to serve kids. So that shows you who this kingdom, who this rulership is for. That's for the Israelites. All right. Is that it on that one? Trooper, you're right. Salakia, I actually need you to hold what you have in Revelation. Actually, you know what? Officers of Badger, Trooper, you're right. Hold what you got. Officers of Badger, can you get me Psalms 2 and 8? I forgot to read that one. I was going to get Trooper Rod to do it. So Trooper Rod, you stay at Revelation 2:25. We'll go from there.
So we just read Isaiah 49, correct? And
Isaiah 49 and 22, 22 and 23.
Salakia, 22?
23.
I don't know. Salakia, Isaiah 22 and 23 or 49?
No, Isaiah 49 verse 23.
Oh, Salakia. What?
Hold on.
You wanted Salakia, you wanted Psalms 2 and 8? Psalms 2 and 8. And ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance.
Whoa, hold up. Read that again.
Kanat, ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance.
You know who's talking right here? This is Yahweh. He's speaking to David. David in the spirit is hearing the words of Yahweh. He's saying, ask me, David, and I'll give you the heathen for your what? For your inheritance. What's an inheritance? Something that's yours, something you possess, something that belongs to you. All right, we read that in the law in Leviticus 25 and 40 and down about what? About owning the heathen as bondmen and bondwomen for an inheritance to your kids forever throughout their generations. Read that again, Zabadja. What did the Most High tell David?
Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession.
And the uttermost, and like I said, in the kingdom, we're gonna have the whole earth on lockdown. We're gonna have every part of the earth on lockdown, man. We're gonna literally rule it all, and I can't wait. Because our people we have not had that opportunity to rule the earth, man. When it rightfully belongs to us. You know what I'm saying? The rule of the Most High is eternal. It never ends. We're gonna rule every last inch of this earth.
Right.
And then if we travel to outer space and we find some alien planet, we're gonna rule them too. I ain't saying that the Bible says that. That's not really a verse, but that's just my imagination. You know, you know what I'm saying? If the planet gets too populated here, we're gonna move to expand our nation to the other planets, and we just so happen to find something on there. We're gonna say, listen, is it peace or war? You're about to be our slaves. I'm just playing. All right, but we're gonna rule the earth. All right, we're gonna rule the ends of the earth, and not only that, we're gonna have the heathens as an inheritance forever for our kids, and so on and so on. All right. Who has the next precept for me? Is it Yerad or Shariwan?
I have Revelations for you, sir. Revelations 2:25.
2:25. Khan, go ahead.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 2, and verse 25. But that which ye have already, hold fast till I come. Come.
Keep going.
26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nation.
To him that overcomes will I do what?
For him to overcome and keep my works unto the end, to him will I give power and over the nations.
To give power over the nation. What's that mean, Trooper Yerad?
Just like we were saying, sir, we will rule them. We will rule all the other nations in the earth.
To have power over them, to have authority, or to say, go clean up this mess we made back in 2020. You know what I'm saying? Go take down this skyscraper. It's about to fall over. Go fix this, man. And they get to fix it. Free labor too. They're not getting paid. Esau is definitely not getting paid. See the mess they've caused back him in this earth, the destruction and the garbage, all that. They're gonna have to fix it all for free. That's literally part of the slavery they're gonna go through. All the statues and idols and weed shops and prostitutions and not prostitution. What is it? Strip clubs and all that stuff. All the abominations they've built. They're gonna have to go and tear it all down, man. All the heathen and all different parts of the earth, man. Because America's actually is going to be destroyed by the chariots and nuclear fire. But as for the other nations, they're going to have to go. They're going to have to also get to work. You know what I'm saying? So we have power over the nations because remember the scripture we brought out a couple of weeks back? We're the shield of the earth. We're the guardians of the earth. We're supposed to protect this earth. Or like I always love to quote Commanding General YAHANNA, because he always says it so much. This earth is supposed to be a paradise because it was supposed to be ran and ruled by the 12 tribes of Israel. But it's not, because we got some bastard, in authority. We got a bastard. There's a bastard dwelling in Ashdod. There's a bastard in America ruling the earth from there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's unbelievable. Keep going.
Sir. Verse 27. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers. Is that correct, sir?
God.
Even as I received of my father. So what does that mean? Even as I received of my father.
What did Yahawashi receive from the Most High?
Honor, glory, sir.
Get me Matthew 28 and 18. We're gonna see what he received of the Most High.
Matthew 18 and
Matthew 28, verse 18.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 28, verse 18. And Yahawashi came and spake unto them, saying, all power is given unto me in heaven and in earth.
What was given unto him?
Power, sir.
Where?
In heaven and here on earth.
So that's what it means in Revelation. Even as I received of my Father, even of the authority and power I received of my Father, that's what you're gonna have over the nations. That's a precept, to explain what that last part in the verse means. Even as I received of my Father, that's what it's talking about. All right. Get me Trooper Rod. Now go to Revelation 15. That's not good. Revelation 11 and 15. Trooper Shariwan, did you have something for me?
No, sir.
Okay, no sweat. Give me 2 Samuel 8:14. 2 Samuel 8:14. Whoever has it first, you can read it first.
Revelations 11, chapter 15.
No, Salagi, what do you have?
Yeah, I have Revelations 11, chapter 26. I have 11 and 15. Revelations 11, 15.
Okay, Khan.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 15. And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven, saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdom of our Lord.
Damn. What does that mean, Trooper?
It means that all kingdoms are going to be basically we're gonna rule them. We're gonna have power over all the kingdoms in the world, and Yahushua is gonna be basically we're gonna rule with Yahushua.
That's right. In other words, all the kingdoms of the world have become the Most High's, meaning your land, your so-called authority you thought you had, your gold, your silver, everything that it's all ours now. That's what that means. Everything is us. All the kingdoms of this world, they belong to God. They belong to Yahushua. They belong, you know what I'm saying? They belong to us now. All right. All right. Actually, Trooper Shariwan, what do you bring out what you got?
I don't come, sir. It's the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 8 and verse 4. And David took from him 1,000 chariots and 700 horsemen and 20,000 footmen. And David hold all the chariot horses.
Salaki, what are you reading?
2 Samuel 8 and verse 4.
Oh, no, Salaki, 14. 2 Samuel 8, verse 14.
Come on. And he put garrisons in Edom. Throughout all Edom put he garrisons. And all they of Edom became David's servants.
Do you guys remember what a garrison is?
And garrisons.
Garrisons, man, I can't wait. What's a garrison?
I never got that breakdown.
Oh, really? Oh, no sweat. Let me tell you. So a garrison is basically what he did. I'll just use this context. What he did, because he had the nation of Esau at this time, King David had them under subjection. What he did was he positioned and posted troops or soldiers, troopers, and in Edom, right? And they had their own, where they would stay, and they had that nation under subjection. Like they kept the troopers there, kept the nation in check, because Esau was at that time was now paying taxes to Jerusalem, to Israel, right? They were their servants, all right? And again, all their authority, their gold, their wealth, whatever belonged to Israel now, because David overthrew them in war, all right? So the garrisons, because King David, of course, can't be in Jerusalem and Edom and both at once, he positioned an army, a military force there to watch over the citizens of Esau or Edom to make sure they're in check. And I love this verse because this is what we're gonna have in every country all over the world. Literally, East India, China,
right,
South Africa, everywhere. Because look, I'm not gonna be able to be in all these places of the world at once and be in Jerusalem. Yeah, that's obviously not possible. So you do it through what? Military power, and stuff like etc. Like, so this is a good. And the reason I bring this out, again, there's certain verses in the Bible, the Old Testament and New Testament, that just gives you a clear picture image of what the kingdom is going to look like. All right, like for example, if King David and his sons and his sons and his sons, at this point in time, what you just read, Shariwan, if they had kept the righteousness going and they didn't forsake the Most High, we'd be in the kingdom from that point on to this day. We'd be here right now. We'd already have, Lord knows what parts of the earth we'd have rule over already. Our people wouldn't be going through no curses. You know what I'm saying? Like we brought out a precept. I don't think it was yesterday. I think it was last week sometime. Baruch 3:13 said, if you had to just kept your righteousness. You know what I'm saying? Actually, let's get that. Let me Officers of Badger, get me Baruch 3:13 real quick, just because just to make the hammer in the point of what's going on here.
Khan, Shalakia, 1 second.
Yeah, no, so Baruch 3:13.
3:13.
Had they have kept up the righteousness and David's son Solomon, he didn't sleep with those heathen women. You know what I'm saying? And sin and commit abominations. Hadn't he had done that, and his sons, we would be in the kingdom right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's not my own interpretation or what do they call it? Like eating the text. I'm not giving my personal interpretation of the text. I get that from other precepts, like the one the Officers of Badger is about to bring out. All right.
Khan, I got you right now. Baruch 3:13. If thou hadst walked in the ways of God, thou shouldest have dwelt in peace forever.
Shalom. There you go. If you just had walked in the ways of God, you would have been dwelling in peace forever. You wouldn't have had to, and it means what it says. We wouldn't have had to go through these curses. We wouldn't have had to lose rulership of the kingdom.
Salakia, if I may.
Go ahead.
Every trooper, everybody in this school should have a little red apocrypha just for those times when you got to get through to a book that's like in the middle of the book. You just pull out your little apocrypha, get it quick. This is that little fast draw.
Right, the apocrypha is definitely necessary.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you were breaking down garrison.
Right.
So what is a garrison again? Sorry.
Oh, you didn't. Okay, no sweat.
I didn't get it.
You didn't. Okay, you didn't. You heard what I said, but you just don't understand it. Okay. Trooper Shariwan, did you understand it?
Khan, sir. And if I could just, I just want to repeat it, just to make sure I understand it. Is it like a bunker, or like a military base in another country kind of thing?
Yeah. So that's what comes to mind. And when I first read that too, that's what you're getting that confused with barracks. That's what a barracks is. Like the barracks is like I used to be, and I was in the cadets, the military cadets when I was like young. I was like 13, 14, 15. And they would send us to Canadian Forces bases, and we'd have to sleep in barracks. And the barracks is basically it's like what you just said, big tents, and it looks like big massive tents, and that's where the soldiers would sleep. There's bunk beds, there's a kitchen, it's very, and it's they have them stationed in different spots in the military base, right? So that's a barrack there. We use that term in the I.S.U.P.K regarding, like, for example, Officer Bond is trying to secure barracks here, meaning a living quarters for the troopers and the officers, and in case there's a place to stay. The barracks, now we're trying to get the barracks in the school. Again, that's a different topic, but just to give you the understanding, that's what barracks are. And for some reason, when I read this too, I'm like, that's what came to my mind. But if you Google barracks, that's not what it's talking. Go ahead, Shariwan.
Oh no, sir. I'm just
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you Google barracks, you're not gonna get that.
Salakia, Ak.
Go ahead.
So basically, what it sounds like, garrison is like the base, but the barracks would be the sleeping quarters and the eating quarters on that base.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Okay, that's perfect. So basically, like he said, like Officer Zabaj just said, the barracks is like the headquarters where you would sleep and stay, where the soldiers would stay overnight, of course. But the garrison itself is like it's a combination of things. You got your barracks in the garrison. You got like a couple of watchtowers in the garrison. You got
Training.
Training. You know what I'm saying? You got your building that has your weapons, your arsenal. You know what I'm saying? Your ammunition, your munitions box. You know what I'm saying? Your loadout.
That loadout.
All right. So that's basically what the garrison is. As a matter of fact, give me a minute, because I seen a good representation of a picture on Google. Let me try to find it.
Salaki, sir. I have the description here if I could, sir.
Go ahead.
Another one called garrison, a military post, especially a permanent military installation.
There you go. That exactly. You got any more?
Sir, there's a second description as well. It's kind of similar.
Go ahead.
It reads the troops stationed at a garrison. Oh, so the troops stationed at a garrison. So and then it says station of troops, to station troops in.
Yeah, I can't find the picture. Okay, no sweat. No, okay, that definition is perfect. And what Officer Zabad just said is also perfect. That's exactly what it is. It's where you have troops stationed, at a certain region, a certain country. Now, of course, you're gonna have barracks because they need to sleep somewhere, they need to stay somewhere. Maybe their shift will, for 1 year, maybe half a year, 2 months, they'll switch out with the other trooper. You know what I'm saying? So they're not spending their whole life there. But we're just gonna have that's the kind of control we're gonna have over the nations. We're gonna have garrisons in the regions we run, because again, the king Yahushua cannot be in East India and in Jerusalem at the same time. You know what I'm saying? He can't be in Africa, South Africa, and in Jerusalem at the same time to give orders. He only has one mouth. He's not some triune God, of course. We all know that. He can't speak at different places. All right, that's not Yahushua. So he has to use his servants, his army to do it. Trooper Yerad, go ahead.
Sir, if I could, sir, it's heavy what you're saying. It comes to mind. It reminds me of like how America has like bases everywhere around the world, like military bases everywhere in other countries that has like they have no business there, but they're the only ones who have like bases located all around all these other nations.
Right, exactly. So does that make sense, troopers? Now, do you understand what garrisons is, or do you want me to explain more?
Oh, that's
and isn't it a beautiful thing? Oh my God, you guys are not excited I am about that. But anyway, all right. So read that verse again, Trooper Shar, you want?
Come, sir. The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 8, and verse 14. And he put garrisons in Edom. Throughout all Edom put he garrisons. And all they of Edom became David's servants.
And they became David's what?
Servants. And the Lord preserved David whithersoever he went.
Whithersoever he went. So this, guys, is the kingdom of heaven. You're looking at the kingdom of heaven right there. And like the precept officers of Badger brought out, had they, kept up the way of righteousness, they would have been dwelling in peace forever. Like there's a precept, we're not going to get it just for time's sake. In Joshua, it says that basically, and not one good thing that the Lord promised to Israel failed, meaning all the blessings came to pass when they entered into the land of Canaan. Because, and we know what blessings and curses are based off of. They're based off of your obedience, your keeping of the commandments, and your righteousness. So it says not one blessing failed, not one good thing that the Lord said to Israel failed, but all of them came to pass. All the blessings, because we were keeping the commandments. And I after reading all these precepts, I just can't believe how a Christian could say it's not possible to keep all the commandments.
Right.
There's so many times in Scripture where the nation did, individual men did. All right, like it's very possible. It's very possible. Job was a perfect man. All right, and if we all had, Yahushua was a perfect man, and if we had a nation of Yahushuas walking around, we'd be on top of the world. And that's what I.S.U.P.K is doing. All right. All right. Does anybody else have a precept from me?
For that particular scripture, sir, for Samuel.
Yeah, I didn't give you guys one. Okay, no sweat. Trooper Yarad, bring me to Wisdom of Solomon 3 and 7. Wisdom of Solomon 3 and 7. And then Shar Yuan, you can take me to Acts 1 and 6.
Oh, okay.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 7. And in the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble.
Was that it?
That's it, sir. Yes.
That's
Wisdom of Solomon 3 and 7, sir.
and then Salakia, and read the next one, next verse.
Verse 8. They shall judge the nations.
Oh, there we go.
And have dominion over the people, and their Lord shall reign over Salakia forever.
So the Israelites are gonna have what? They're gonna judge the nations and have dominion over the nations. All right. We're gonna have dominion again, like all the precepts we brought out, specifically Revelation 2 and 25 to 27. We're gonna rule them with a rod of iron. All right. Is that clear? Does that make sense? And then Shar Yuan, this will be the last precept for tonight, just because this is part 2. So really, there's not much more. Just I didn't have time the first part to finish all of those precepts, but we did now. So read this last precept, and then we're gonna just for this particular class, we're gonna close it out early.
Salakia, before you do that, what was the precept, the last precept before the one you're about to give to Shar Yuan?
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 7 and verse 8.
Thwadak.
No sweat. All right. Go ahead, Shar Yuan.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 1 and verse 6. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel?
The kingdom to who?
To Israel.
To Israel. All right. His disciples asked him like a question. All right. They said, now take this in. Yahushua he just left. You know what I'm saying? Well, he's about to leave. He's about to ascend into heaven on a chariot, of course. All right. And out of all the questions they could ask him, you know what I'm saying? They could have said, when are you going to love all people? When are you going to turn water to wine again? Yeah, they could have asked him that. But the last question they could possibly ask Yahushua in the flesh was, Master, are you now going to restore the kingdom to Israel? That was, now this shows you the purpose and the intention of the whole Bible. It's all about Israel. That's what the disciples asked Yahushua. All right. You can add that to your, you can also use that for your topic of salvation, because it shows you who they're looking for, who they're looking to give this kingdom to. Are they talking about giving it to the other nations? No, we already read it won't be left to other people. No wonder this makes perfect sense. Reading Acts 1 and 6. Will you at this time restore the kingdom to Israel? All right. Does that make sense, Akim?
Con.
All right. Got somebody in the comments here. Said, hey, what you guys think about the Sakari and David Lynn beef in Toronto? Oh, it's popping. It is. Oh, man. Everybody's talking about it.
Gotcha.
It says, any thoughts? Do you think that makes us look bad? And do you think getting called a mamzer is fighting words? Well, I'll just quickly, we got time. Lesson's already over. I'll just touch on it quick. You know what I'm saying? Just so we know. Well, first of all, the David Lynn and Sakari beef. Listen, we're all Israelites. I'm not gonna say we're beefing with anybody. First of all, we still the brothers in Sakari. They're still our Israelite brothers, and we still love them. You know what I'm saying? That's not. We don't have enemies out here like that. We don't have beef with. You know what I'm saying? We don't do that in the UPK. But I do know what you mean, though. All right, there is some sort of feud between them two. Either one of them's been trying to get a hold of the other and trying to debate desperately, whatever. Should they be debating? There's nothing wrong with debating, but not everybody can debate. All right, the Sakari wasn't given the authority by Commanding General YAHANNA to go out and start their own camp and debate and start teaching. All right,
Right.
That's our stance on that. Nobody put oil. No, look, nobody in the UPK put oil on any of those boys' heads.
Right.
And said, go ahead, start your own camp and teach whatever you want. Nobody did that. So should they be debating? No, they shouldn't, because they don't have the truth. And knowing blacks, Hispanics, and Israelite blacks and Hispanics and Israelites, that's not just the truth. It's not enough to know that.
Right.
All right. So that's what I think about that. They shouldn't be debating. Yes, when they debate, it makes us look bad, because Sakari teaches that we can sleep with white women. Sakari teaches that the Sabbath is on the new moon.
Right.
All right. They teach all these wrong doctrines. And now, when I say that, though, let me be clear. We're not associated with them. But because unlearned people who lump all Israelites grouped together think we're the same, in their minds, we look bad to them. But like in the starting of every video of camp and lessons and stuff, it says we are not associated with any other Israelite, Christian, whatever organization. We are not associated with them.
If I may.
We can't.
like I kind of like that, them debating and running to debate any and anything, that makes Sakari look bad. Like the I.S.U.P.K, we look like gold, we look like diamonds, we look like we're shining over here. The Sakari and any other person who calls himself an Israelite with fringes on their shirt is not in the truth. David Lynn is not in the truth. If you wear a dress and say you're going to camp with a sign that you didn't build by your hand and you're not in the I.S.U.P.K, you are not in the truth. And if you want to know what we think about mamzers, go to Cross the Line Radio, watch the last episode, watch the whole episode. But if you especially want to know what we think about mamzers, General Mahaiman, he broke that down perfectly.
God. And is calling somebody a mamzer fighting words? No, it's not. They handled it wrong. That whole situation, it was handled wrong. They should not have fought that. But I'm not gonna now. Apparently, that's not what happened. Apparently, they didn't fight because of that. Apparently, the guy went in his bag and he was worried about there was a gun, so the guy just started attacking him. That's what some people are saying. I'm not going to speak on what exactly happened. I wasn't there. I'm not going to speak out of ignorance. But is calling somebody a mamzer fighting words? No, man. You don't be so, us as Israelites, and this is a lesson for all Israelites, even in the world. You can't get so emotional when
Right.
it's said. Like, I know the word is a powerful thing, but you got to learn to control yourself. When someone says a word to you and you get upset and you start acting out, you show that person that they're in control of you and you're not in control of yourself. Because
Right.
you're speaking invisible words, you've now lost it and start acting like a monkey. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shows that that person can control you with their words, and that doesn't show self, discipline. All right, there's scriptures that talk about, getting angry quick. If he that controls the spirit is better than he that can take over a city. That's in the Proverbs. You can control your anger, your spirit. You're greater than he that can take a city. Because you don't want to be that guy with the loose cannon all day walking around. Someone says one thing to you, you just lose it. That's not good for your people. It's not good for you. You know what I'm saying? So no, calling somebody a mamzer, that's not fighting words, man. And then I don't even know, I don't even know if you're an Israelite, but that's our stance. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. Mamzer, first of all, it's not even. Mamzer is not what they're trying to say, FOP. Again, let me just sum it up like this. All these other Israelite groups and Christians, they got their doctrine wrong, all right? They're not in order, first of all. There's some things like me and Officers Abad just seen that night that, boy, did show us that there is no order in these fake Israelite groups. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting into the depths tonight, but you know what I'm saying? That's our stance, man. If you guys want to see real, proper debates, watch Captain Tazariak's debates. He debated FOP. He debated FOP, whatever the heck they call themselves. You know what I'm saying? He debates Christians. He does real debates. He's a real priest of the Lord. He's not some guy that wraps a scarf on his head and anoints himself. All right, he's a real priest of the Lord. Is that right? You're right.
Right.
All right.
Damn scarves.
Right? Like
Dresses.
dresses and fringes on shirts. Like, so yeah, that's it right there. All right. Other than that, does anybody have any questions pertaining to the topic?
Salakia, sir, I did have a question.
Oh, go ahead, Sherry. You want?
So at the start, you went to the book of Daniel 2 and First Maccabees.
Right.
Would you use those two books to kind of build the foundation of what the kingdom is about before even getting to the New Testament?
Could you repeat the question again, Salakia?
So basically, if you understand those two chapters that you brought out, Daniel and the book of Maccabees,
Yeah.
If you believe that there's no contradictions in the Bible, then just starting with like that foundation, that's enough to prove that the kingdom is just for Israel.
Now, when you say if you believe there's no contradiction, what do you mean?
So I guess when debating, a lot of times I hear people say, "So you believe there's no contradictions in the book?" And if the person says, "Yes, I agree, there's no contradictions in the book."
So let me try to understand. So basically, you mean from the perspective of the person you're giving these verses to?
Yeah.
Okay, so as long as they don't believe there's a contradiction with the Bible, the Apocrypha, they believe in all of it, then could you use these verses? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now in a debate, I mean, you maybe like I haven't done a professional debate in the I.S.U.P.K before, so I would definitely ask a bond, of course. I'm not gonna go ahead and say how to do it in a debate, but what I will say are these verses you could use in a debate regardless, absolutely. This, along with other verses to prove who salvation is for, who the kingdom's going to, we have those breakdowns. All those verses are definitely appropriate to use in the debate. How to start your foundation, how to start the platform. I'm not gonna say I'm not sure. Check with a bond if you do want to know. So how would you personally start a debate regarding the topic of salvation? I haven't done a debate in the I.S.U.P.K, so I can't really speak on it. But yeah, you can definitely use these verses.
Salaki, if I could try wording it just a little differently.
Okay, Khan.
So, what's that one topic? So there's a book in Hebrews that basically says Christ came to redeem those under the first testament.
Khan.
And that's basically a cut to all ideology.
Hebrews 9:15, right?
Right, and that's basically a cut to all ideology saying that Christ came for anybody else.
Right.
And so I guess I'm trying to say, like, is that chapter in Daniel and First Maccabees, is that like a cut? Is that like a clear cut?
Are you
topic?
Are you asking, is it a go-to precept that gets the message across clearly? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, because like the book of Daniel, in book of Daniel 2:44, when he's talking about his vision, that dream,
right?
He's basically explaining like how he sees the kingdom.
Right. Yeah. So, it's definitely a go-to cut. The only thing though, like Trooper Yarad brought up, you may ask, well, who are the saints? It's not like a one cut and go. You're gonna have to add a precept with it. Okay. Because you got to explain who the saints are. All right. And you got to explain, like, well, actually, that was in Daniel 7:18 and 2:44. You still kind of got to explain who the kingdom was being given to, and that's when you would use the precepts that we use concerning who the saints are. Take them to Daniel. So it's not just a one cut and he's done. You're gonna need to add some precepts because they're gonna say, well, who was this talking about? Who's the saints? We're all saints. There's Saint John, Saint. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna go off on that whole thing. So you definitely want to add a couple precepts to prove otherwise. But definitely those are good precepts to go to. Yeah. So was there a second part to the question or that was it?
No, sir, that was perfect. Water.
Okay, Khan. Whoever BNOHBLO, if you're a brother or a sister of Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian descent on your father's side, then I suggest you get an I.S.U.P.K, all right?
Right.
All right, because the only way we can say there's contradiction is through lack of understanding and see we have come to the priest and prophet. Okay, so if you're not in the I.S.U.P.K already, then just in case, contact Officer Aban on Facebook, Aban Yahawada or Aban U.P.K. All right, contact him on Facebook and let him know if you're not already in the school, if you're Israelite, you know what I'm saying? Because the real understanding comes from here. It comes from the I.S.U.P.K. Listen, we've been doing it since 1969.
Right.
It's like this. Are you gonna go get marriage counseling from somebody who's never been married with no kids, or are you gonna go to somebody who's had much experience in that area? It's obvious what the answer is. Now compare us with those fake groups out there. We've been doing this, giving breakdowns, debating, speakings on camp, teaching lessons since 1969. Bible, history, all right, that all coincide and go together. So, why would you go to some new fake group that just came about a couple of years back?
Salakia, especially ones that learned from someone who thought it's okay to sleep with 12-year-olds. Especially ones that think it's okay to tell on your brother for $2,000 like Christ never had a warrant.
Yeah, that's rough. See, so yeah, that's why you want to get up in this body, man. That's why you want to get up in this body. So, brother or sister, if you are an Israelite and you're not already in UPK, I'm not really sure who you are. I haven't seen you before. in the videos or anything like that, get in this body, man. Contact the camp leader, or if you're, if you're not in Toronto or Canada, then go on the UPK website and check out the, the where a zone is in your area. All right.
Right.
Other than that, we're gonna go ahead and end it out. I'm gonna post the sign out links. Officer Zabaja, if you want to go ahead and announce your class.
Salaki, do you want me to do the announcements as well?
Oh yeah, Khan, yeah.
All right, so just a reminder for anybody watching and who really wants to learn the truth, you could check out I.S.U.P.K Quebec on Mondays at 5 p.m. That's taught by Officer of 500 ADR. You could check out I.S.U.P.K Quebec Wednesdays at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's also taught by Officer of 500 ADR. Tuesdays is the Brotherhood class taught by Officer of 50 Darash. Wednesdays is the law class taught by Officer of 50 Darash. You could also, if you want to learn Hebrew and learn your language and learn the language your forefathers spoke, you could check out on this same channel on Friday night, 7 p.m., taught by Officer of 50 Darash. That's the La Shuan Kodash class. On Saturdays from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., taught by myself, Officer 50 Zabaja. We have the I.S.U.P.K Canada Sabbath service. And don't forget the scripture breakdown class taught by Officer 5000 Aban, Saturday night, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. With that said, I'll give you the security announcements. I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limit for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3, verses 8 to 10. Imashara, which means tenth in Hebrew, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Up and coming holy convocations is the Feast of Dedication, HaKanukah, which is the 25th day of the 9th month, by the space of 8 days, Wednesday, December 9th, 2020, for 8 days. You can find that in the First Maccabees, chapter 4, verses 52 to 61. A reminder to all Akim and Aquath to check the I.S.U.P.K website, www.isupk.com, for any up-and-coming events. If anybody wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirts, pants, and headband. With that said, Imajam, which means to stand. So upon Yahakudam, which means turn and face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew, and then we're going to say it in English. Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabbat Shemayam.
Shabbat Shemayam.
Kodash.
Kodash.
Haya.
Haya.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malakwafka.
Malakwafka.
Taba'a.
Taba'a.
Ratazaka.
Ratazaka.
Haya.
Ya.
Aisha.
Isha.
Barataza.
Barataza.
Kawa.
Kawa.
Haya.
Haya.
Bashamayam.
Bashamayam.
Lathanawa.
Thanlanawa.
Lakam.
Lakam.
Ka.
Ka.
Wayam.
Wayam.
Wasalaknawa.
Wasalaknawa.
Kabwathnawa.
Kawabathnawa.
Kasalaknawa.
Salak now.
Kabwaf Yanawa,
Obaf Yenawa.
Wala'a,
Wala'a.
Sabayanawa,
Wala'a.
Wanasayawan,
Manasayawan.
Abal,
Ba.
Hawashainawa,
Awashinawa.
Mayan,
Mayan.
Rai,
Bai.
Kaya,
Aya.
Lika,
Luka.
Hamalakwath,
Malakwa.
Wahala,
Wahala.
Wahatha Parath,
Wahata Parath.
La'ai Walanyam,
Lai Walamiam.
Aman.
Aman.
In English, what we just read, Our Father,
Our Father,
which art in heaven,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
thy kingdom come,
thy kingdom come,
thy will be done,
thy will be done,
as it is in heaven.
as is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread.
our daily bread.
Forgive us our debts,
Forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
Lead us not
Lead us not
into temptation,
into temptation,
but deliver us
but deliver us
from evil.
from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever. So be it.
forever so be it.
Amen.
Amen.
Men of Israel, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the Akim and the Akwath. I Majum Shabbat, hands behind your back. I Majum, Barak, Yahweh Bashim Yahshai Barakatha. Yamata, which means hands down. Men of Israel, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the Akwath. I Majum Shabbat. I Majum, Barak, Shalom Yahweh Shamar, Elatha Bashim Yahshai. Yamata. Class dismissed.